A flat beginning to the week for the stock market with 3,600 crores of institutional buying from FIIs and DIIs not having any impact on the market, with the most of the indices ending flat. In fact, the Nifty was negative, the small cap was negative, mid cap was marginally positive, 13 basis points, micro cap a little bit better. Where did all the money go? And you look at the chart of the Nifty, it kept going down, down, down after the opening, slightly better. And last, the cash related option buying lifted it up by 70 basis points. So what does this imply? If you look at the advanced decline ratio, it was almost flat. I think it was about 1458 stocks up and 1680 stocks down. So microcap being up means that Nifty did a bit of buying today, and the sector rotation is probably the only event of the day, because the banking index and the banking sector stocks saw selling, with PSU banks leading the way. Some amount of defense was a very weak sector, and the only sector with a very strong positive was not defense, sorry, I made a mistake, metals, and realty was slightly positive. So if you look at the whole pattern, with that much amount of money, it either means that the institutions waited for corrections, and they bought little bit so that their buying doesn't bring back the price up. So today was, I think, just about picking up certain stocks which they felt had value, but they limited their buying in, spread it across a large number of sectors. News-wise, there was some amount of news flows which were by and large positive. Brent crude, for example, eased about 1.2% to 93.25, and the dollar index continues to now be its weakest, I think, over the last 1 month at about 98.94. Internationally, Mr. Scott Bessent, the US Secretary, and Mr. Trump have warned they are coming with severe economic sanctions. But surprisingly, Brent crude did not display a spike. In fact, there was profit booking. So maybe the news has already been discounted. Let's wait overnight and see what happens. Gold prices have been rising because the dollar has been weakening. So that's a positive for gold, and that continued. Other than that, domestic news-wise, Indian monsoon numbers, I think Macquarie had given an update saying that the rainfall deficit has narrowed from the 35% in June levels to about 12.5%, and Kharif showing has also recovered with just about a 2% plus or minus from last year. In fact, the government has allowed wheat exports this year, which means that clearly there's not so much worry on the domestic availability of the stocks. The banking stock pressure today was partly driven by this whole story around long-term yields going up, though Indian yields didn't go up that much, but still the fear of that, I think, has hurt the banking stocks today. Another reason, perhaps, in terms of the August itself, the market's not doing so well, could be seen that block deals, some in the secondary market, but with the LIC offloading by the government and a huge, almost $1 trillion, $960 million Manipal IPO, means that about $10 billion of deals, equity market deals, many of which were not in the secondary market, could explain some of the fact that despite all of this buying, the markets didn't show a strong bounce back. That's, I think, it's in terms of news today. So a market not very easy to explain today. That's the way I would like to leave it. Thank you.